In the house.
Oh, what's up? And it's Sori here. Hopefully you guys can hear me.
It's a historic day.
It is a historic day.
Actually,
it's a wonderful day.
It's kind of the beginning of the end,
but
yeah. Okay. We have actually didn't really check these songs, so I'm assuming
it's full Megadeth stream.
What do we call? Are you supposed to put that on the thingamajig? What did you title it?
Total Megadeth stream.
Is it a Megadeth stream? Is that what it is?
Yeah, literally every song is Megadeth.
Okay, a full Megadeth stream.
Mm-hmm.
Or the end
Jay,
of the band.
hi.
Let's go. Oh, we got the man in the house. Look at that.
Yep.
He's right on time. What an example to humanity that Megadeth fan fella is.
Yep. Why be late when you can be on time? Hey, remember that? It's 5 or something like that.
Spirit box?
No. It was like Spirit 5 or something. You were talking to Emily. You said we shouted out her in the stream because she's the one that was kind of like their publicist.
What about him?
Anyway, we did a review. We brought them on camera, the guy on camera, and they had a really badass song.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I just did that video today, and I was clipping it up. It turned out to be an hour. That entire video was an hour because we threw in an interview.
We threw the interview in there?
Yeah. Yep. It was such a great song, though.
Did you put that in the title? Megadeth?
Yeah. I said Total Megadeth stream or something like that.
Total Megadeth.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, we got Matthew Winter in the house. Sydney
Hey, what's
Eubanks
up?
in the house.
Hey, Ultimate Musings. We haven't seen you in a while.
Hey, Musings is in the house.
We thought you abandoned us for Hefner.
This is the old school. This is the old school. This is the old school stream.
Yep.
Perk in the house. Perkunas. Okay, guys. You know the drill. Commercial time. We get right into song number 1, bitches. Get your song reviewed, dear listener. There's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get matched down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed.
And a child shall lead them.
Shall lead them. There's no children leading in this joint. This is led by the big homie Death fan.
Yep. Okay, let me read to you what he said for his stream. So he said, I've gone Death fan for this, my Slim Shady alter ego for the DJ Dethstream 2022 stream. First song up on the list is Megadeth Reckoning Day. He said, make no mistake, it is not revenge he's after. It is a reckoning.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, we'll be the judge of that.
Yes, we will.
It's like literally our job to judge stuff. All right, Reckoning Day.
Let's cut this out. Let's go.
This entire time when his name was Death Fan, I thought it was death metal. And MDeath stood for death metal fan,
And not,
but he had just reversed
Megadeth.
it. I didn't know it was for Megadeth.
You know, I'll be honest with you, Vin. This is literally the stream. I figured that out too. Oh shoot, my light's not here. Meh.
What happened to your light?
I was using it for taking those pictures.
Oh, that's why. Okay, well,
Should I go get it or?
No. Text one of the kids and have him bring it. The time.
Sorry, foot fetish. You have a foot fetish?
Let's
I've
talk about
met
something
people.
else. Okay, Reckoning Day. Let's go. Oh.
I like the way that I make you itch, and all the reasons I give you to bitch, and how I make you wanna scream in pain, and feel your life is just a losing game. Oh, I like the way that you let me in, the way you look when the walls cave in. I like the way that your stomach knots, and how you vibe and all this vibe. I like the way that you fool yourself and make believe there's nobody else. I like the way that you stand in line and pick salvation from the empty skies, empty skies.
That makes me feel nervous.
That's the reckoning happening.
Yeah. You're gonna pay tonight.
You can pay right now. Fuck that. So, somebody's gonna have a difficult time.
Yeah.
First of all, the first thing I want to talk about this song is the solo. I really, really, really like that solo, and I generally, I'm a new metal kid, so I don't really look for solos. Mm-hmm. And I think most of the time, to be honest with you, I think most of the time solos that get put in the band are actually pretty meaningless because I'm like, the song could have been fine without the solo. But
who needed it?
But this solo was really cool, and it surprised me because it was kind of reserved. It didn't. I thought you were gonna hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was very, very reserved, and the song was.
Yeah, you're right.
The song was really aggressive, and I thought the solo was gonna go. Wow, NMJ in the house. We got all the old
everybody's
school.
coming back.
Okay, Megadeth is bringing in
summoned
all the
them.
OGs. It looks like the OGs don't like black metal bands with,
Right.
with 5,000 views. They're like, love it, sorry, but fuck that. Yeah, so I'm sorry. I love that solo. I really, and I don't really know what technique. I guess the guy's name is Marty Friedman. I thought Marty Friedman was on Black Sabbath for a while, or maybe he could double time bands. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But Zombie Preacher's here too. Remember Zombie Preacher?
Zombified preacher? He's like, back in the day.
But that solo was, as a matter of fact, I actually want to bring the video back up. Sorry, Death fan.
Do that.
I don't know if he's going to be mad at that or not. Okay, and that riff right there, being the main riff for the verses, was also. I said this. I said that. Oh, we got Tony in the house. I also said about Megadeth, about Dave Mustaine, is that he's probably the best riff maker of all time.
Oh, well.
Now, I attached that to James Hetfield at the beginning, like early Metallica, mm-hmm. And people were like, "No, dude, no. Dave was the one that was coming up with all, like Four Horsemen." Mm-hmm. I guess that was Dave's riff. Like, there's a lot of like the early Metallica riffs that were just really recycled Dave Mustaine riffs, which we didn't know because we don't know anything about metal. But one of the things that was crazy to me about Mustaine is that, remember I was like, he was putting like 5 or 6 or 7 different riffs in a song, and I'm like, each one of those riffs would have been a new metal hit.
Yeah.
But because he's so talented, he would just play it for 10 seconds and move on. I'd be like, Dave, what are you doing? You're a genius. But
how is this happening?
Yeah, he's just so good. The slow middle, the slow solo in the middle was Dave's solo. Okay, let me see which part right here. Where'd it go? Yeah, right here. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that was, to me, that's so brilliant because I know that he or maybe the other guy can just go off and. I read something one time where Kirk Hammett was talking about the Justice for All record.
Uh-huh.
I had bought this book when I first got guitar. And he was talking about the Justice record and what he was trying to do. He was trying to prove himself because he was. Metallica was really on the up and up. That was after Master of Puppets and everything. Mm-hmm. And of course, when you get really high, everybody's, Kirk's really not that good. He's, we got Yngwie Malmsteen over here, blah, blah, blah. So Kirk, a lot of those solos he said on the Justice record were him trying to prove himself. So like the one solo, like, and but this one is like, yo, I know who I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I can see that.
I don't really need to impress any of you. I'm freaking Dave Mustaine, bro. Like, I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I love shit like that when somebody like they can shred every 2 seconds if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. But he's like, yo, I'm gonna take the song over here because it was fast paced. It was very fast paced, and then you get to the middle, you're expecting a ripping solo, and then he goes off in a completely different direction that you were not thinking about.
Right.
Because I guarantee you, nobody. If I would have said, what do you think this solo is gonna sound like? Nobody would have come up with that middle part. Everybody would have been like,
I wouldn't have.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's real genius, man. Like, okay, so I had to talk about that part because that was a part that really freaking blew me away. Actually, like it blew me away. Okay, and it was melodic, and you guys know how I like melodic music. Okay,
What? To be you know what happened with me? Because he was like, okay, it's about a reckoning. I was trying to figure out the storyline, and then by the end, I think I figured out, is this all inclusive? Like, this could be any of us?
yeah.
And we're all going to pay for the shit we've done, basically?
I don't know. It seemed kind of personal.
It's going to get you?
I like the way that I make you itch and all the reasons I give you the bitch and how I make you want to scream. And you know who this reminded me of? Who in the Village? Who in the Village would that remind me of?
I have no idea.
it's
I
not
can't get over
MDF.
itch, and it sounds gross, so...
De Herrera.
Why?
Look at the lyrics. I like the way I make you itch and all the reasons I give you the bitch and how I make you want to scream in pain and feel your life is just a losing game.
Oh.
I like the way that you let me in, the way you look when the walls cave in. I like the way that your stomach knots and how you cry for it all to stop. I like the way that you fool yourself and make believe there's nobody else. I like the way that you stand in the line and beg salvation from the empty skies.
Oh, okay. I can see that. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just Alden said Webb. That's funny. It don't want no revenge, ain't no payback time. It ain't called getting even, and here comes the reckoning day. So I don't know if like the first person in like the verse is somebody who's like just been clawing and scratching at him, and then the chorus is his response. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Or if the song is all him, and this is his passive aggressive way of getting back at people, like so that the chorus explains the verse basically.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm making you itch. I'm doing all this shit to you because I'm getting revenge for the way that you treated me. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because there's people like that. Like it's sort of a passive aggressive attack mode where you're.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
Where I was like this because I was a middle child, and so my mother was the arch matriarch of our family, and you didn't cross her. You know, and she's old school Jamaican, so you're liable to get
The kitchen sink.
it's funny because you just be talking, and I'd say something like off course or whatever, and she'd just start looking around.
Ah!
And initially, when I was small, I didn't understand why she was looking around, and then
gosh.
something would come flying at you, and so when I saw her like looking around, I knew, holy shit, you crossed the line, Vinny.
Gosh.
Shout out to my mom, rest in peace. Here's the one time. The only thing there was a suitcase because we moved around a lot.
A suitcase?
I'll never forget. It was like this light blue, greenish suitcase. I was like, "What are you gonna do? You're gonna throw a suitcase at me?" Wallahi, she took up that suitcase. She'd say, "Oh, you want to?" Whoom! Threw the suitcase at me.
Oh my gosh! My friend said her grandmother, I think, threw a brick at her. I said, "A brick?" She said, "Yeah, it hit her right in the back of the leg." When she was a kid, I was like, "Are you crazy?" She wasn't from America either.
So he got the idea from the movie Tombstone, which is a Western
Oh, okay.
about vengeance.
Oh, yeah. You know what? There did seem like there was a lot of like Westerns that were like Reckoning, Day of Reckoning, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So
No wonder my grandmother loved those shows. That's so funny. That's the thing. I don't know if this ever happens to you, but when you're like a kid, maybe this happened to you or not, but like when I was a kid, I didn't even realize, honestly, like that the adults in my life are human beings in a sense. Like, I remember the day that I was like, yo, Meme's a girl. Like, that's weird. Like, she's a girl.
And how
like,
domineering she was.
Well, not just that, but just like she was Meme. Like, but to think she was a child once, like me. Like, she ran around and she was bad, or she did. You know what I mean? Like, it was just hard to picture her doing anything other than like cooking and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like being Meme. So I don't know, but she definitely had that that revenge Spitfire side of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not vengeance he's after, it's a reckoning. And so that's one of the concepts of the song. I'm not after vengeance, it's reckoning. I think because the first time
What's really the difference?
The first time I saw the difference between the two was pretty sad actually. Ron Goldman's dad. I forgot the guy's name. So remember OJ? Mm-hmm. Of course you remember OJ.
Yeah.
So
of course I did.
He killed Ron Goldman and whatever. And
well, I mean, we don't know for sure.
Right. But Ron Goldman's dad was like, and I didn't understand this as a kid. Now that I'm a father, I completely understand it. Just beside himself with rage every time there was an interview.
Oh my God.
And
that's the girl's father or the boy's father?
That's the father of the guy.
Yeah.
And he was saying, he's like, I don't want revenge, I want justice. And that's the first time I heard that dichotomy. So I went to my mom, because my mom...
You need me to set up an eye appointment so you can get your glasses adjusted?
Yeah. My mom, who, obviously that was... I'm not going to get into the dynamics of it, but obviously your perception of OJ's guilt or innocence, a lot of that was based on racial... along racial lines. So every black person I knew, oh, he's innocent, whatever, and I personally believe that he was guilty. Now, do I believe he's the only one that did it? Probably not. Mm-hmm. And that's a separate discussion. But until you become a parent, you don't really. So then So that question is a really interesting question. What's the difference between vengeance and a reckoning, or vengeance and justice? Mm-hmm. And the only conclusion that I could finally come to is vengeance is something personal that you do to settle the score. Mm-hmm. Whereas justice or reckoning is when society as a whole agrees and says, this person's bad for all of us, so all of us need to punish this person. Mm-hmm. So it's society agreeing with you and saying...
That's reckoning?
That's reckoning or justice. You're in the right. This person should be punished, and all of us are going to join you in the punishment of this person. Okay. Which is what prison is, right? Because all of us take part in the prison system, whether we like it or not, with our tax dollars. Mm-hmm. And I think that dichotomy is important because it keeps society together. Because if you have people just meting out their own forms of justice contrary to society taking part in it, then you end up with a bunch of chaos.
Yeah.
You end up with madness. You end up with vigilantism. You end up with all types of crazy shit. And especially in the American justice system, when it's at its best, I think American justice is probably the most ambitious form of justice we've ever seen. Innocent until proven guilty that Americans have is not universal. I don't even think the principle of innocent until proven guilty is the value system in Europe. So when you have a reckoning or and obviously as a Christian, you say, ultimate justice or reckoning is when God agrees with the drive towards settling the score. And God says, yeah, you're right. And then God deputizes society to handle that guy. Mm-hmm. Right? Which is what you see with Cain and Abel. Right? Where Cain says, anybody who finds me will kill me.
Right.
So I do think it's an important. So what Ron Goldman was saying, if my theory is right, is that I'm not looking for personal revenge. I'm looking for society at large to agree with me that this is wrong and this guy should be punished. And that's an important distinction to be made.
Yeah, I think that that's true because.
Did you get rid of Widow or Attack?
I couldn't find him over here. I tried.
Okay, probably somebody already got rid of him. Okay, go ahead.
So, shoot, I don't have a charger. I think that the difficulty, like, like different people that, there's a person that I've been talking to that has was assaulted in such a horrific way. It's just absolutely heartbreaking. And the series of events that surrounded it is just so horrible, and that affects you for your life. Like, you can go through therapy and different stuff and get help for that stuff, but that's an uphill climb that you have to face, because even though you're growing and you're moving forward, like, that event still happened, and the level of tragedy involved with it is just, in the Bible it talked about if somebody was assaulted that way, like, their punishment was death.
Yeah.
So it's the idea that you took a life when you did that, because the Old Testament was eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So you essentially took a life when you assaulted that woman. So now you're going to pay with your life. But obviously now everything just kind of, like, the person that did this, they just let them off. Like, there's nothing on their record. There's no slap on the wrist. There's nothing. And, she's obviously having a hard time with that. And she was saying how people are saying to her, the people that are in her life directly, that spend a lot of time around her, are saying, like, they're getting tired of seeing the effect that it's had on her, because it's made her depressed and it's really taken her down, I guess, a lot of different things, and they just want her to get past it. But if she meets a complete stranger and she talks about it with a stranger, the stranger will be like, well, no wonder this is still affecting you. Like, holy shit, this was a horrible event.
Yeah.
And I think that especially when you're surrounded by people that should love you, and they don't see how horrible an event is, even if you get, there's people that are in bad relationships, and they leave the bad relationship, they get a divorce, they move on to something better, but there's still this lacking feeling, because society as a whole, well, I say society, but I just mean the circle that they're rolling with, maybe it's a religious circle that doesn't even believe in divorce, or whatever that was. So if they're surrounded by that, there's a sort of empty feeling or pain point that comes when society as a whole doesn't agree with justice in the situation. Even if you get justice, but the crew around you didn't support that justice, that's a painful thing.
Yeah. It's 100% true. Mm-hmm. And societies get in real trouble when you have a society that's marked with a lot of injustice.
Yeah.
But the surrounding society will not agree with the survivor that injustice was done to them. You eventually do dissolve into some form of civil unrest.
Yeah.
And it doesn't,
What happened to his dad?
He's still around. I don't know if he's still,
But he's not in the public eye, so you don't really know, like...
He was just very unhappy, very bitter, very hurt. And, it's like I said, like...
Can't even imagine.
Yeah. And he got the horrible draw of having his son get killed by a mega rich mega celebrity, and then all the racial undertones took away from the fact that you had two beautiful human beings, physically and otherwise, by all accounts, that were taken from their families, and his son got sacrificed basically on a racial altar, which at the time when we were in the middle of it, we as a people had experienced so much injustice where society said, well, fuck you, that it was like, oh, we're going to have one.
Yep.
This is going to be our one, and now you're going to know how it feels.
Yep.
And I remember that feeling. And I remember feeling like, yeah, they don't know what it's like to be us. Well, now they know, haha. Mm-hmm. And I get that on the meta sense, man. But then as a father, It's like,
Jeez.
was that right to make them? It's the same thing, you know, this is going to be controversial. It's the same thing with the Rittenhouse thing. Like, now that I'm older and I have more perspective, and now, again, because I'm a father of a 16-year-old boy, you know, it's like, what would I want my son to do in that situation? Fucking kill everybody and get home, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that cry, I don't want vengeance, I want justice. That, because my mom was like, OJ, 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 but when she saw that, I could tell she was massively affected by it. You know, she was really affected by that moment because it was like, damn.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so I do think that there is a difference between just regular vengeance and reckoning or justice.
Yeah.
I'd say reckoning ultimately is about God, you know, justice is about society, and vengeance is personal. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the Bible tells us to stay away from vengeance, but that assumes something about your society.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there's a reason that the Old Testament is nicknamed the law. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's something where the community has to come together. And if and you keep doing that to people, there's going to be, you know, now I look back at Ron Goldman's dad and I salute the man because he advocated like crazy for his son. He really, really did. And, you know, salute to that. But yeah, it was a very, very, very dark day in American history, I think. And it was... But the song was very, very insightful. If you look at it lyrically, of somebody who has been denied justice, and they're gonna find some way, somehow to fight back. I don't want revenge. Ain't no payback time. It ain't called getting even. Here comes the reckoning.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, okay, so when we were kids, it was for some reason like everything was very strict, except we were allowed to hit each other unless we basically had this understanding that we could get violent with each other as long as it wasn't in front of our parents. If we were somewhere else and they heard the ruckus, as long as it wasn't too obnoxious, they just let it be. But like sometimes one sibling would start something, and so then like let's say somebody they're having a jealousy issue or they're feeling some sort of way, and so they just take the first opportunity they kind of smack you across your face. And then you smack them back. Like, to me, it's not even really even yet because the other person started the violence. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, well, if I hit back, that still doesn't like you're just getting back what you kind of put out there. But I still had to deal with the shock of getting slapped across the face unexpectedly.
For no reason.
Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when he says
it's not
called getting even, it comes a reckoning day.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with that.
we're not just going to even. We're getting a full payback here.
Yeah, but there's a sense in which you can never get even with a person, because, like, let's say Ron Goldman was able to kill OJ himself.
Yeah.
The dad. That doesn't change the fact that
His kid still.
there's a reason OJ deserved it, whereas Ron Goldman didn't deserve it. Mm-hmm. So there's no way to make it even.
Right.
Because in order for it to be even.
And it doesn't bring back the kid either.
Right. The only way to really be even is if you killed OJ's kid. See what I'm saying?
Oh. Holy shit.
Because OJ's kid hasn't done anything to deserve being killed. Well, supposedly. My brother thinks that OJ's kid was actually the one that killed him. But, yeah. So, that's the wisdom.
Thanks for the super chat. We'll jump on that question after the review.
That's the wisdom in the scripture saying, like, not to take personal vengeance.
Yeah.
And, you know... And me and Death Fan have, you know, we talk at least 2 or 3 times a week with each other. So, you know, anytime one of these cultural events happen, you know, we're going back and forth and hashing it out, trying to figure it out together as friends.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. And that's one of the things I appreciate the most about the friendship, because the majority of the time we usually disagree. Although the Rittenhouse, the last 3 or 4 court verdicts, we were both like right down the middle. Mm-hmm. I think he felt bad for Kim Potter, though.
Did you?
Fuck that bitch. Yeah. Okay, I like the song a lot. I love the metal. I really, really love the solo. That's what really stands out to me. It's actually pretty funny because it's like probably no Megadeth fan would say, "Yo, did you check out that solo?"
But that's actually one of my favorite Megadeth solos in a while.
All right, what are you giving it?
I asked you first, dumb butcher.
No, you didn't.
I'm adopting a very stringent grading system.
Yes, I heard about this. So what do you give it?
So
we
it's
know.
gonna get a 9.1. 9.1. Really, really good song.
So I had
really
an 8.9.
Guess I need to text you more often
still-
to chat. Yeah, you do,
You still
Jay.
beat me.
Bitch. All right,
Bitch.
go ahead. What'd you give it?
I gave it an 8.9.
An 8.9. Okay.
Yeah.
And Sori's letting us know out the gate she doesn't know metal. So, were you guys born religious, or did you find out? I've been thinking about God and Jesus a lot lately. I've done so since I was a kid, and really appreciate that. Thanks. Okay, Natural, we will answer that question on the other side of the break. Having said that, dear listener, then out.
Sorry, out.
Go.
I mean, it's not that complex. We were born that way.
Yeah, both of us were pretty. You know, I had a pretty. Actually, my earliest memory in life. I'm talking 2.5, 3 years old. Was a very, very. I don't.
Dude, can you put this?
I told Soraya the story, but I haven't told anybody else. I'm not going to go into details now, but my very first memory as a human being was a pretty significant memory with God and Jesus. What I would say is the being open to a part is the best thing, right? It could be right, it could be wrong, but being open to it is important. And the other thing I think is that people, for some strange reason, they think that if you turn to God in a crisis, or you turn to God when your life is upside down, that all of a sudden, like, that doesn't count or something, like it's not virtuous. And I'd say don't worry about that. There's a lot of times that, you know, crisis, one of the root meanings for crisis simply means change. And there's a lot of times that a crisis comes into your life that's designed to instigate change. If there is a real God in Jesus, and they were trying to get to us, they know how to get to us, right? So sometimes God will orchestrate situations in your life that turn things on their head to make you ask a different set of questions.
Yep.
Because a lot of
Facts.
our belief systems have to do with the answers to questions that we have, whether we know we are asking those questions or not. And a lot of our life is determined by what we believe to be true. And so when you start asking a different set of questions, what you're doing is you're putting, it's actually a pretty brave thing to do. You're putting your current understanding of reality to the test, and you're opening yourself up to a different mode of reality, which I think is awesome. And the scripture says that God rewards those who seek Him. So just keep going down that track, my brother. viditsoy@gmail.com. If you have any other questions, or if you have any questions here, I'll try to look for you in the thing, so you don't have to keep super chatting. So you don't have to super chat anymore. We'll find you and we'll try to answer your questions. Okay. All right, guys. Song number 2 is on the way. You guys know the drill. Here we go. Let's jump right into it. The name of this song is...
You're not doing an intro?
What do you mean, the commercial? Okay, you want me to do the commercial now.
Yeah, it makes it easier for the person that breaks up the streams.
Commercial time, guys. We're on the way. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at viditsoy@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
Ah!
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSory. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sory and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed.
And a child shall
Child
lead
shall
them.
lead them. There's Jambi with his bitterness. I love it. What's up, Jambi?
I've seen you guys give 10s to rubbish, MDeath.
Rubbish! That's British for garbage.
Look, MDeath fan, that was your opinion that it was rubbish. I didn't think it was rubbish if I gave it a 10. I try to only give 10s stuff that when I want to go back and re-listen to them, they get 10s.
All right.
So I'm really trying to figure out my own playlist.
This is the ultimate supercalifragilistic Megadeth.
Megadeth.
Stream.
Every single
Megadeth
song
stream.
on this stream is Megadeth.
Crunch.
Megadeth the whole time. Megadeth.
Crunch.
So here we go.
Why are you trying to outshine me? All right.
I do that because sometimes you put your hand and it gets in my face and it annoys me, and I wanted to know if it annoyed you too. And it doesn't look like it does.
Cool. Will travel Megadeth, and you're supposed to turn this up. Johnny Stout in the house.
This is the remastered version. It says crank that shit. Turn it up.
Turn it up. What the hell?
Round and round, the wheels on the bus go round and round.
Oh, yo, turn my shit up, turn my shit up.
Mama's packed their lunches, kids pack their guns, wishing it will go away, but nothing's getting done. A shot could ride the world, while our mother's baby died.
Oh, 1997.
June 1997.
June 17th.
Okay. First of all.
Special day.
What stood out to me was the chorus.
Really?
Yeah.
The last one was a solo. This one's a chorus.
Well, because vocally, it was perfect.
Oh.
Ooh, you know?
Yeah.
And like, what was it? There was one particular song when we first started reviewing Megadeth. It was like 2 years ago. And like, he was legit trying to sing in the chorus, but he doesn't have a lot of vocal range. And it was just a disaster.
Oh, no. I don't remember.
I don't know if it was Tornado of Souls or whatever it was.
Oh, no.
But it was just it was horrifyingly bad. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, it affected our rating.
Yeah.
But this one, people were saying, well, it gets better later on. And like this chorus right here, I love it when people, because everybody can sing. Everybody has a range. Everybody can sing if you just stay within your range. You know what I'm saying? So, like when I was showing you that part for that song, I was out of my range.
Yep.
But you got the idea.
Yep.
But yeah, like so for example, the Kyrie Relea song, like the first part, that's in my range, and I can do that with you. I can harmonize. It sounds great. But anything higher than that, forget it.
That's cute.
So like,
you're cute.
This one, he was right in his range, man. He really, really was. And,
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I don't know who it reminded me of some kind of a grunge singer, but I forgot which grunge singer it was. But I love what he did in the chorus. But it reminded me, I don't want to say it was Eddie Vedder.
I was just gonna say, was it Eddie Vedder?
No, and there's a specific kind of song I'm talking about. But the way he slowed down the tempo and then the song's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't.
Hey, Sadie, happy birthday!
Hey, happy birthday, Sadie! Good to see ya. Yeah. So I really, 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 really like that chorus. What stuck out to you on the song?
Well, just the kind of the way that it had like not like a super heaviness, but it had like some heaviness to it. But then there was also some I don't know how to explain it, but I liked what they did with it musically. And then what did you think that the song was about? It sounded like it was
Mods. Can you permanently ban this guy or what? Mods, get rid of him.
Which one?
Yeah, Lane Staley. It did have a Lane Staley feel to it. For sure. Yeah, Lane. Okay, everybody's getting it. Okay, but keep going. What were you saying?
Are we talking about like violence in schools? Like it kind of reminded me, well, not exactly like Chappelle's speech, but you know what I mean. Like
we were just talking about
topic.
Today.
Yeah, the topic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's about school shootings.
That's
right?
such a God. Yeah. I can't even, and to me, it was like kind of more of an upbeat song for such a horrific topic too. But I guess, how else are you going to get the conversation going if it's too heavy plus the topic's heavy? I'm not sure people would listen to it.
Yeah, by that time, it's funny. Columbine happened in '99. This song happened in '97. But there were other school shootings that happened prior to Columbine.
That was the first one I ever heard about.
Columbine was just the biggest one. Mm-hmm. And it was like still happening when the news was.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is Windwar Attack. I permanently banned the guy. Get rid of him. But there were, like I said, there were other school shootings that were happening prior to that. And
why did that one make it so big onto the news?
Well, one was that it was still happening in real time.
Oh.
Literally the cameras got there and a kid was like climbing out of the window.
Oh my God.
I mean, he made it.
He did.
But yeah. But it was, I mean, he had broken the window and he climbed out and he got blood all. It was just a horrible,
God.
Yeah, it was just on the next level type of thing.
Yeah, I remember we were teenagers and there was a youth conference and we were all at this youth conference and then they started talking about it. And I'm not sure if it was because it was I really don't remember if it was happening or if it had just recently happened and that's why they were talking about it. But that was the first I had heard of it, was at that youth conference.
Yeah, Overshadow Sean is an OG brother, so bring him back. But the Windwar guy, get rid of him. So you heard about it at a youth conference? Like they stopped the conference and said, "Hey, this is going on."
The thing is, that's what I just said. I don't know if they said, "Hey, it's happening right now." I know that we were praying, so maybe it was going on right then. I don't remember I remember them talking about it. I think probably it had happened prior to that, but very recently toward that event. Because I remember them talking about the students and one of them being a Christian, so it must have already happened. But yeah, they were talking.
Cassie Bernal. There's a bunch of
and her poetry and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, Overshadow. Yeah. So there were school shootings before that. And it was crazy because the community had talked about it. Pearl Jam did Jeremy, which was about that. And then these guys, and then Megadeth did this song, and so, and he talks about it too. We the people point our fingers, blame, and wonder why. Which we the people is code for America. He's talking about American society.
Yeah.
Which you never really see people taking
any responsibility for what's happening over there.
Communal responsibility.
Yeah. Right.
So shout out to him for that, because most of the time we want to say, that's them, that's not me.
Yeah, I feel like that nothing is really being done to stop it. Like, remember that girl got up and she was speaking about it? And then all this mockery was happening about her. She has very short hair or something like that. And then she was getting mocked all over the place by grown adults for this girl standing up and speaking.
She was getting mocked by like hyper right wingers, because that's the problem. Every time one of these shootings happen, you get one side that says we need gun control, and then you get another, and it gets completely politicized, and then you depersonalize the person. This girl had watched her friend's head get blown off, and so and look, I don't believe the solution is gun control, because America has 328 million people in it, and we have more guns than people. And so we're long past, a gun control measure. People bring up other countries and things like that. It's like, that's not America.
Yeah.
Like, America, it was built on the gun. Like, people don't understand. Like, the other thing is, like, it's an argument really from the greater to the lesser. Are you saying that a person would be willing to commit such a heinous crime as shooting people when they're in school, but then they'd say, you know what, I'm not going to do that because having a gun is against the law?
No,
it doesn't make any sense.
No, I get what you're saying. I just think that, like, when we're talking about, like locks. Locks are just to keep the honest people honest. If somebody really wants to get into your car or they really wanted to get into your house, they're going to get in, But the lock there just kind of keeps, So my thought is, I think that, kids and I do think that still some people would search out to find a gun. But I do think that more often, if the gun is accessible, they're more likely to use it. Like, hasn't it been a lot of these times the gun came from the parents' house?
Listen, the person who is the type of person that's going to shoot up a school is the person that would kick in your lock.
Yeah, but are they the type?
See what I'm saying?
I don't know if they're the type of person that would go looking for a gun or not. You're saying you think they would be. Yeah, I don't know. I think that sometimes I think that somebody
in the ghetto.
Just like your mind just kind of goes off. Like, how long did they plan this for? Did they just come up with it? Did they?
I came up in the ghetto.
Yeah.
In New York City, it's illegal to have a gun, especially if you're underage.
Yeah.
We all had guns. We all knew how to get them. Mm-hmm. See, that colors my understanding of gun control. Chicago has
but a lot of these school shootings are not happening in New York, right? They're happening in like weird small towns and stuff, right?
Well, I mean, my point is, I've experienced areas where they made guns illegal and the places were flooded with guns.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that does not stop anybody who wants to. If somebody wants to kill you,
they're They will.
A gun control law is not going to stop them. Mm-hmm. And to me, I didn't really have any sort of path to a solution until I heard Bernie Sanders on Joe Rogan. And I don't even think Bernie Sanders understood what he did when he talked about it. But and of course, Death fan is like, that's why concealed carry is good. Fuck around and find out. Yeah, but again, for people that are sending their kids to public school, I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna tell your kids to conceal carry against their classmates? Is this where we are?
Oh my gosh!
Like, you see what I'm saying? These solutions, it's like one group is saying no guns, and then the other group is saying more guns, and both of them are equally ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
You know, the kid who's bent on like Columbine, for example, they planned that shit for weeks. They were going to bomb the school and shoot him up and do all types of crazy shit to him. They were, you know.
What is this? Did you want that?
No, not particularly. You can give that to Johan.
Oh, it's mine. I'm going to thanks, honey.
But, you know, like, so here is where I think Bernie inadvertently gave the solution. He was on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about Medicare for all.
Yeah.
And
right.
He was talking about how people
right
who have mental illness can't go see a doctor or get the meds that they need to deal with the mental illness because they can't afford it. And so and you know how, especially men, forget it. You know, you're not going to not go to work, and you're not going to burden your family with another medical bill just because you have something wrong behind the ears and all the right. Men aren't going to do that. Mm-hmm. And so he said, you got all these guys that have all this mental illness, and of course in America, who are the most, you know, inordinate victims of suicide are men, because we don't get the mental health. You know, a woman is more likely to get mental health, and she's more likely to get meds than a man will.
Yeah. So, but you know what? Right now during COVID, you know, I've heard a lot of people saying they're having a very hard time to get in to see any counselors or therapists or anything. And I'm pretty sure that there's like one counselor in school for, it was a crazy number. I was talking to somebody about that, and they were saying that it's so spread out. Like, okay, I want to say it was like one counselor for 300 students or something like that. Like, it was outrageous. Like, they're not going to be able to get the help they need. And I think that some of these classes that the kids have to do are just dumb. But I think that one of them that should be mandatory is mental health. And they should all be taking a class on what to do in a mental health crisis situation, so that can help them with themselves, and it can help them with each other, and it will help them be able to see what's going on, because these kids are not stupid. These kids are very, very smart kids. So many teenagers have so much potential, and they're underestimated by their parents, by their peers, 100%. By their teachers. And I think that if we set these kids up to be able to help each other, I think the kids want to help each other. But they don't know what to do in different situations. And I think that they see there's something going on, they just don't know what to do about it. And there needs to be, you're right. You are absolutely right. There is a mental health crisis in our nation. Yeah. And there is not enough understanding of what to do or how to help people. You're right.
Well, yeah. So right. He was talking about that. And then Rogan says, let's talk about where we disagree. And then they start talking about guns and gun control. But Bernie didn't connect them.
Yeah.
And to me, that's where I say, okay, that's where we need to focus. I don't think the gun control laws are going to work. And even if you arm the security guards at school, I was in a school that had armed security guards. If you wanted to get somebody, the security guard wasn't going to do shit except for pick up your body. Trust me.
They want to get home to their family.
Yeah, it's not even that. There was. Look, the security guard is not God.
We saw those, or was that the cops that they didn't want to go in? They were waiting for the SWAT team,
that's the other thing. Was in Colorado. yeah. Like, those kids were getting shot up, and that dude stayed outside because he had a little pea shooter, and the guy was there with a, you know, I think he had an AR, or he had a Bushmaster. No, it's a Bushmaster, I think. So like, that guy is not gonna like if somebody's trying to get a bunch of people, you're gonna get a bunch of people before. And I get it, like arm the teachers, like that introduces a whole
No way.
That introduces a whole different I've got a completely different perspective on that. I'm sorry, I don't want the white lady armed with a bunch of 16, 17-year-old young black youth. I'm sorry, I don't want that happening. Police can't even control themselves around us. And they're supposedly trained in it.
Nope.
But why there's not a big conversation happening around mental health and the ubiquity of guns and how that works together.
Yep.
And I think that's a major consequence actually of not having socialized medicine, actually.
Absolutely.
If you look at other countries, if something is wrong with you, you can go to the hospital and you won't feel like you're, burdening your family with all types of craziness. And the way that Americans look at mental health, I mean, I think it's a lot better in this generation. But it's like, oh, toughen up, yada, yada, yada. It's like, okay, he'll toughen up. He'll toughen up and kill all his friends. What about that? Like, I really, really think that if we put out a real investment into mental health, that I think we would get back some seriously good returns.
Absolutely.
When it comes to the school shooter stuff.
Absolutely.
Or just active shooters in general. Like, there's a sort of nihilistic despair that these people have that is obviously psychotic. And, like, it's just one of those situations where that's where we need to be doing the focus. But because guns are so politicized, and guns have a symbolic
absolutely
effect on the mind of Americans.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
They have a symbolic effect of
well, and I think that people are kind of old school in their thinking. Like, back in the day, the weapons of the people kind of match the weapons of the military. It's not like that anymore. Like, if the military wants to go after us, or whatever guns you have in your house, you're not going to be able to stop the government with your guns. That picture, I remember that picture when the people came out, like, the military was all, like, strapped up, and, like, they came out with their...
Yeah, it was the gravy... It was the Gravy Seals. It was the Gravy Seals.
That's
you get
right,
all
it was.
these, like, morbidly obese individuals who believe that they're going to overthrow the government because they've got
their gun. Yeah.
So I understand that part about it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's like, hey, maybe we can have a real conversation about mental health and the ubiquity of guns in America. And maybe we can overhaul our society so that we can encourage, especially men, especially young men, because there's a very particular demographic who's doing the vast majority of these active shooters. Maybe we could get them mental help. But again, if you're a man, you're much less likely to go seek out mental help. And I agree, like, just throwing pills at it isn't the solution.
No,
either.
Of course not. There's therapy that has to be done to help people work through the things that they have to work through to get the healing that they need to be able to be healthy human beings. And I think because, people have traumas from childhood, they have, they grew up with their parents who are, just sinners like the rest of us. You know what I mean? Like, people have things that they have to deal with. And it seems like, there was that athlete, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but he wanted to normalize, like, taking care of your mental health and being able to say, hey, I have this or that issue. It would be really cool if society would take a flip and the people that you were like, yo, were the ones that weren't in therapy.
Right.
The ones that wouldn't, that refused, that believed that they were, they could do their own therapy.
Right.
Those are the people that we should say, yo, wait a minute, you're the one I'm going to be worrying about. These people are working. These people are at the point where they're not in self-denial and they're saying, I need help.
Correct.
And I'm going to go talk to somebody who can help me.
Correct. And I agree with Joe Garcia. Daniel Almeida says, weren't the Viet Congs able to resist the full might of the U.S. military? No, they were not. Ask any Vietnam vet and they'll tell you the ROEs became progressively more and more constricted as Jane Fonda and the rest of those folks demonized the U.S. military. Secondly, the Viet Cong were in a constricted war with the French, with European powers for a very long time. So these are all battle-hardened people that all they knew was war. That's not the same thing as out-of-shape 30, 40-somethings who are cosplaying as Navy SEALs saying they're going to go and attack their own government.
Right.
It's not the same thing.
Right.
And to me, I think anybody in America, this is going to be controversial. If you are an out-of-shape individual who believes that because you have an Armalite Model 50, you believe that you're going to somehow resist the American government, that proves our point that there's a mental health issue.
Exactly.
Because anybody that knows anybody,
exactly,
or anything about military tactics, strategies, etc., knows that that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
As AT said, we've got drones, we've got things that we've got classified shit. I mean, we've got if the United States military turned against its own people, trust me, your AR-15 is not going to help you. It's just not going to help you. And I think we've got to think through the mental health aspect of this and destigmatize it, particularly for men.
Yeah.
There have been female active shooters, but it's men almost 9-1. Or it's males 9-1.
Right.
Why is that?
Right.
Obviously we have, we're situated for more aggression and things of that nature. I get that. But I do think there's also there's a severe stigma on men who ask for mental health.
Yep.
I know it's huge in the black community. I know it's massive in the black community. Where, black women are kind of allowed to get mental health, but even they're not allowed to because the whole strong black woman trope. But black
I think
men,
religious context too.
Forget it. Same thing.
Jesus
religious,
is going to fix all of that.
Right,
Jesus is your counselor. Blah blah blah.
It's true. Very rarely do you. It's not these atheists. I mean, the Columbine kids were, but for the vast majority of it, it's not atheists running around blowing people away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know just because the kid themselves is saying they're an atheist doesn't mean they didn't come from a religious family that didn't believe that you should. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of kids that say I'm an atheist because their family is so crazy religious.
Yeah. Death fan. Stop being so weak. Stop being so weak. A lot to learn. No, I think Death fan, you have a lot to learn. I don't think that a person admitting that they need help is weakness. I think that's strength, and I think
absolutely.
I think we need to reorient what it means to be man, a masculine individual, all the rest of it. And that's why I spend a lot of time talking about my own mental health issues, the things that I went through, being in the hospital, things of that nature.
Yep.
I'm pretty secure in who I am as a man. I've got a pretty exotic resume that I'll put up against anybody. and you know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
But I had severe mental health issues and I needed the help. I couldn't do it on my own. And I'm glad that I was able to interface with people who, my mother, because she's got a background in the medical field, she saw the signs, knew what was happening, and she made sure that I was good. And for me, because I'm such an extreme personality, I ended up in a hospital, and I ended up there for quite a half a year. But it was necessary for me. I needed it. And it reset me, and it put me in a really, really good, a really good trajectory in my life, and I was able to recover and move on. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me, and that's one of the reasons I'm so explicit about that. Because we've got to destigmatize this for boys, because we're reaping the whirlwind. I do not think that gun control is a solution, and I don't think arming teachers is a solution. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely not.
No guns or no guns, whatever. That's not the solution. But I'll tell you something, Death fan. If somebody would have said to me, suck it up, I would have said, Roger that. Because I wasn't asking for help. My mom imposed the help on me when I was a kid. Bless God. Thank God. But this silly bullshit John Wayne ideology That's the ideology that men and boys are dealing with.
Right. People end up dead in those situations. You know, there was a...
That's the ideology. So go for it. You know, do the whole, yeah, I'm an American, blah, blah, blah. Guns, yeah. And, you know, oh, it's just a flesh wound, I'll go on. Okay, cool, do it. That's what we've been doing since the inception of this country. It's not working.
It's crazy, too, because if you see it in a religious context, it's very easy to say, that is so friggin' crazy. So there was this woman, she had cancer, and it was like in her arm. Her arm was completely black because there was so much in there. But and the people were telling her, like, you need to go to a doctor, you need to be seen. And she was like, there's nothing wrong with my arm. I prayed about it. God's healed it. It's completely good. So she just like stuffed her head in the sand about the fact. I mean, she did end up passing away because it overtook her. But in a religious context where she's spiritualizing it and she's saying, no, Jesus has this. I'm good. He's got this. Ridiculous. When clearly that's not the path that Jesus wanted you to take. Ridiculous. I mean, he allowed us to understand modern medicine, and he set up the human body to be able to be understood scientifically, so then we could actually do things to bring about change and healing in people. And it's no different when it comes to psychological stuff. Burying your head in the sand about it and manning up and not facing it is not going to actually help. It's going to end, in the end, it will bring death. Whether it's yours or somebody else's, it's going to bring death. Those kind of mindsets are not the type of mindsets that people can live out the longevity of their lives healthily and influence the people around them without it bringing some form of chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. And, to Sadie's point, we can always depend on her to be articulate. Mental illness doesn't just go away. It's not a matter of recover. It's a matter of address and find treatment, which is often ongoing. And,
right.
And a lot of times when you get, like I said, I was blessed to be able, you have DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. Mm-hmm. They give you strategies. It's not just, you're in the hospital, we're going to pump you full of pills. At least that wasn't my experience. And that was, over a decade, 15 years ago. It wasn't just, we're going to pump you full of pills. They gave me real strategies. Hey, man, when this is happening, you can do X, Y, Z. It's a holistic way of dealing with things.
How many of those strategies do you still use now?
I do a lot of them, even unconsciously. I mean, even physiologically about stress headaches and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still use a lot of them to this day. I've forgotten a lot of them, and if I wouldn't mind doing a refresher of them, but I don't think it's a crutch. And when you say we, I don't know what you mean. Because what we're talking about here, Death Fan, is a very specific kind of issue. And the issue is, why are people, particularly white males, let's just be honest, why are they arming up with weapons, killing their friends, killing other students, randomly going into bars and shooting everybody up?
Right.
To respond to just say, well, let's just be John Wayne. It's like, that is a mentality that you know what though? I think millennial, we're at the back end of millennials.
Yeah.
I think the millennials are getting a lot better at this.
I think you're right.
They're a lot better at this.
I do think you're right. Yep.
There's not a lot of, and I don't know really the effect of social media. I would assume that you'd actually see more school shootings because of how toxic social media is.
No kidding. No kidding. Yeah.
Because I told the story about my sister.
Right.
She almost took that girl. But and some of this has to do with how you were raised too. I was raised in an area where there was a threat of gun violence all the time, and how easy it was for us to get guns. And how you feel when one of your friends, gets shot, and the relative mania that you get put in.
My word.
So I don't know necessarily. Death came up in Chicago, but I don't know if he was dealing what we were dealing with.
Right.
But the temporary mania that happens when one of your friends gets hit.
Oh my word.
And you have open accessibility to guns, and you can get guns if you want, and that mixture of fear and the desire for vengeance for your folks, and how easy it is to get your hands on a gun, all that What do you think? What do you think, Death fan? All that John Wayne bullshit,
Right.
that machismo. What do you think is happening in that situation? Is that going to escalate or de-escalate the issue? See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So to me, I'm not saying this about him, but it's this insecure. Oh, if I don't act tough, I'm not really a man. Bullshit. I've been around. I've been around the world. I've done my share of. I've gone through all the rituals, the cultural rituals of John Wayne manhood more than most people. Mm-hmm. And I've done irreversible things, yada yada yada. So it's like I don't even care about people's silly opinion about what men are. But how do we make it so that people don't just say, you know what, I'm just going to kill all my friends today?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Dave Chappelle said, like, kill everybody?
Have you tried skipping school?
You
How about drugs? Try some drugs. But kill everybody?
Yeah.
Why? This makes no sense.
Yeah. So, and this right here is the essence of me and Death fans debates. I'm talking about that, and he goes, "You want to move to Australia?" That's me and Death fan every week. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Those are the only two options: John Wayne or Australia. That's it.
I enjoyed this one though.
Really good song. I think Dave did a good
topic.
job.
Yeah.
We point our fingers, blame, and wonder why, and apparently we haven't learned very much from it. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
This one's a 9.6 for me.
I'm giving it a solid 9. I really, really did like that course. But the other thing about Dave is that when I look at these songs, he's kind of always saying something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
He's always saying, and you may not agree with Dave, but he's saying some significant shit. Mm-hmm. And Dave is one of those guys where, or I shouldn't say Dave, I should say Megadeth, because it's not one man band, but
right. He's
one of those people that you could look at his discography and you could kind of match what's going on in America around him, based on what he's saying. And I think that's like the mark of the true artist, in my opinion. I'm not the biggest like Megadeth fan in the world, but now I'm sitting back and I think about the songs and the concepts that he's talking about. Like, he's saying some real shit. For real. Shout out to Dave Mustaine, gang. Okay, we're coming right back. If you're in regular YouTube world, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to catch you at 3 o'clock or 7. Are we still releasing free vid today or something?
We were, but we needed more uploaded. So
okay,
we got a little. I think 2 days of break.
Okay, so we'll be right back. If you're doing the right thing and you're in the stream, we're gonna catch you in like 2 minutes. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. Yeah, that was cool. I showed it to my family about Jimmy Dore talking about me to Tucker Carlson. Did you see Tucker Carlson's response? He didn't deny that that's the biblical way to treat immigrants. He just said, "Oh, there's separation between church and state." But he didn't deny that that's what the Bible says you're supposed to treat immigrants. It was hilarious. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, these people. All right, guys, we got a commercial break, and then we're coming right back with more Dave Mustaine. I can't believe that more people haven't asked for Dave Mustaine. This guy's... Anyway, okay, commercial time, guys. We shall return. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
Ah!
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Sorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
First day's hard.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. A child shall lead them.
They truly shall. Okay, you guys, a total Dethstream for 2022.
Yes.
Next song on the list is Megadeth, Tears in a Vial. And this is a relationship song for Sorry.
I need a child. I dedicated it to you?
Well, because he knows I like relationship songs, so.
Death fan is the only person in the village that could dedicate a relationship
No, he didn't
song.
dedicate a relationship song to me. He was just saying
Would
he
you
picked
just let
one.
me finish the
Oh,
sentence?
go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
That could say this one is a Sorry where I wouldn't look at him with the screw face. That's my man. That's my man.
Yep.
Don't you try to do it, dear listener. All right. Here's Jeff. You're almost as bad as the commies that run YouTube.
Yeah, really.
All right, guys. Let's do it. The name of this song is Tears in a Vial by the band Megadeth. Let's go.
This may seem all too confusing. How I could walk away from something so rare. But you see, it all got too demanding, yeah.
Oh no!
And I just didn't care From every wicked thing that you did, that you said, to sit that way, buried with your love. So many tears in a vial. Now that you're gone, and now that you're dead.
Wow. This song looks like a lot of things.
Yeah. It didn't
Why is
end
everybody
well.
saying the system has failed? I don't know why. What's up, Princess? Good to see you.
I don't know. Hello.
I don't know why everybody's saying the system has failed. It's probably a
Oh, boy.
what do you call it?
Well, I don't know if this is a love song. It didn't end well.
Well, I mean that's pretty much all love songs, right?
No.
That's pretty much all love songs. A lot of them.
What love songs are you listening
end
to?
Very well.
It's true.
In metal.
But yeah, this one was really in his range. I agree, and I liked what they did with it sonically. It was very. This one was my favorite of the night. Surprise, surprise. Although,
I think it's a relationship song. For all of you who don't know, that's Story's trademark. Everything is a relationship song with this woman.
that's because I like relationship.
Okay, go ahead.
This. Did she die? She died?
Yeah.
You know, this is the first time that I've ever seen something that, like, honest in a song. You
What
were
do
so
you mean?
beautiful to look upon. I could see the light in your smile. Your eyes were the window into your soul. Your body was heavenly, just like the sky. So it seems pretty good there. Then verse 4, until all your good looks betrayed you, which ain't much. Counted on your counterfeit smiles for too long. Your eyes are empty windows, broken. The body may be here, but the soul is gone. And then he talks about her being dead, and I'm assuming that's what he means by she's dead. She was relying on her beauty, but inside she wasn't. And I think that obviously can happen. If you're a very beautiful person, then you don't have to work on yourself as a person. You don't have to work unless you're in a relationship with someone who forces the issue. Otherwise than that, you can probably go on your merry way and you know, whatever, get away with a lot. Because of what you look like. Because society is run a lot by if you're attractive. So, I mean, I can definitely see that happening to someone. Why are you looking at me, babe? Stop looking at me. Thank you for the tea.
Well, I do think like relationship wise, that very beautiful people end up at a disadvantage to a degree, because the opportunities for growth that people have are, you know, you just don't get them because people are always trying to curry your favor, especially dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, also, remember we were watching that, it was a girl on YouTube. I don't remember. I know that she was black, and she was saying that she wasn't a very pretty person.
The pretty privileged girl.
Yeah, she was talking about it, and she was saying that she's not pretty, and that when she goes places, like, she really has to, like, you know, bring out her humor and put her best foot forward and just stay positive, and where, you know, prettier people are, they can just kind of be like, well, whatever, you know? And I think that, you know, the tables, I guess they would naturally end up turning, because you're not young and beautiful for the majority of your life, really. I mean, so if you have to spend, like,
but relatively speaking,
you might be good looking for your age.
You're always going to be the prettiest teenager in a room when you were a teenager. You're always going to be the prettiest 20-something when you're in the room when you're a 20-something. You're always going to be the prettiest 30. You're always, you see what I'm saying? Like, I understand the youth aspect of it, but, you know, like, I'm not looking at a teenager anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at people in your age category, and you're always going to be that wherever you go. So, you know, that's not going to go away.
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
But you have a lot more than just being a beautiful person.
Thank you.
Like when I first ran into you, it was your seriousness about God that kind of blew me away. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't even looking at you like that.
Right.
Like when I first ran into you, you know, we were so young, but like, you know, I took my walk with Christ pretty seriously, but that's because by that young age, I had been in multiple life and death situations and all types of craziness. And so I took my Jesus very, very seriously and just, you know, look, when you're young, you're in your 20s, like, you know, people, it's time to party and all that. And my mind was like elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And so when I first ran into you, I was like, holy shit, this girl I thought I was like a unicorn. And then like, and it's hard to find people to relate to when you take Christ so seriously at such a young age.
No, that's true. That was definitely a thing that, well, once I knew that you were a Christian and you weren't there to rob my parents.
To rob your parents. Yeah. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like that was the main thing. Like, I've been around a couple pretty girls for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna say they were vacuous and empty. I'm not gonna say that. It's just they didn't have the kind of depth that, you know, like we're talking to Atlas Shrugged, we're talking the Jewish Wars, we're talking, you know, preterism, we're talking Revelation 8 and Jewish Wars Book 6 and how that relates to each other, which is pretty freaking crazy the way that you put that together. You know what I'm saying? Like, and on the other side of that, you know, like today, you know, we just took a very, very big step in our small business. Shout out to Amy Lee, by the way, for the assist.
Seriously.
Thank you so much for that. And
plus, it helped with the different frustrating, you know what I mean, things we had to deal with. So every time that you were like, you would tell me when Amy was like, "Oh fuck that" or whatever she was saying, but it was very funny. Because we too were frustrated.
Yeah. The three of us are dealing with this bitch.
I felt so bad because Vinny was having to deal with the frustrating elements of it, and I just kept jumping into the email to read the thread because it was so interesting.
Well,
anyway, so
for whatever reason means, you know, obviously I'm not on the attraction scale, and so the ability to bag very, very pretty people.
Bag?
Well, that's what we call it in the hood. You know, like obviously, like, you know, being able to get girls that were out of my league. I'm saying for whatever reason because, you know, whatever, but. You know, when we pulled in and we were just talking after our big victory for our small business, we got a massive victory in our small business. I'll tell you later, Megadeth fan, but don't tell anybody. And it's like, holy shit, we're really about to do this shit. Like, we're really about to go and take over the world with this shit. And I remember like thinking to myself, like, I said it out loud. I'm like, you got to really pick a partner wisely, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
you're beautiful. So easy to look at, obviously, but for you to close that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, the partnership aspect of our relationship to me is the funnest part of it. Mm-hmm. Fortnite, whatever it is, that's the funnest part about the relationship to me. And if it was just the physical side of it, it's like, I mean, I've known you for like 10 years, and you're.
It's more than that now. It's like 15.
You're legitimately more beautiful than you were when I first ran into you. But
you disagree, but I appreciate
you legitimately are. But like, it's the other aspects of our relationship and the versatility that you have as a person that's the funnest part of our relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, I agree.
So like,
as far as like both of us go, that there's a lot of elements to what makes you.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, you know, I've been with people that, you know, I didn't really think the guy was that attractive, but apparently other people thought so. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there was like not a whole lot of person to him.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening here? And it was a very, you know, and I always found myself in those situations, you know, if I was in a relationship with people or whatever, it was like, you know, even if the person was cool, and I always like it if somebody's funny. And when Vinny gets on his funny kicks, it's funny as fuck.
What was a couple days ago? And you were saying they didn't agree with our miracle. They were doubting her miracles.
They were doubting her miracles, and we were like, I don't know. There's been quite a few times where we'll just like bust, and I don't even know that we're laughing about things that are like.
Feel better, Sadie.
Yeah, feel better. I didn't know Sadie
You
was feeling
absolutely
sick.
helped us, Sadie Fashal. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And she was sick as a dog. She was sick as a dog taking care of shit.
Amy.
Yeah.
So just but being able to connect with somebody on different fronts is super important, and it really like takes the relationship to kind of a different spot, because each relationship is going to have like its shadow seasons, or its parts that are I get frustrating to you, you get frustrating to me, like we both.
How dare you say I get
we both
frustrating?
do
How
things
dare
that
you?
annoy each other, like stuff that makes each other mad or whatever. But then there's a lot of other positive elements to the relationship that that really makes it great. And obviously, like growing up in a this is gonna sound so weird. Probably nobody's even gonna be able to relate. It's probably completely pointless saying this, but growing up in the culture that we grew up in, and the purity culture, and like there was all this like pressure that was put on sex. I thought to myself, well, I mean, even if I don't really like the guy that much, well, at least we'll be able to have sex. And now that I'm like an adult, and I have like an adult mind about it, and I'm outside of that purity culture, I'm like, holy shit, no. No. There has to be more than that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There has to be.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Now, in the comment section, people are saying this song is using relationship actually as a metaphor for him leaving the band.
Oh.
So he says, this may seem all too confusing. How could I walk away from something so rare? But you see, it got all too demanding, and I just didn't care. I don't care if I cared. So,
yeah, but what about all the looks betraying you?
well, yeah, I mean, that can work
Your
with
eyes
the band.
being
So
empty.
apparently,
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
there's like, he either injured his arm or he walked away from the band temporarily to be with his family. Because he did. He says, I had to walk away, gave up something I love for what I loved even more, and saved my tears for you. So that's that decision.
So what do you think
that
he
had to
wanted?
make. Huh?
What do you think he wanted?
Well, I mean,
Well, if he's saying counted on your counterfeit smiles for too long, like
yeah, maybe
it just
talking
wasn't
about-
working for him anymore.
maybe he's talking about the fans and all that, right? Like being a rock star, where people that love you but they don't really know
Yeah.
you, versus being with your family.
Yeah.
And that's if you're a high performing person, or let me say it this way, if you're part of something, like it's like I said, I had to get out of that situation because I knew me and you were never going to be able to work.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like me saying, well, I got to go. I got to get on a plane for 2 or 3 weeks, and don't ask me where I am, and blah 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 blah. Like, I just knew that was not going to work in our relationship. So I had to, and it wasn't just you, like the kids, homegirl, just,
no.
there was a lot of moving parts happening at the same time. So
I honestly didn't even, like, you were so vague about everything that I kind of understood but kind of didn't understand. And so I don't even think I realized that that's how it would have been if you didn't make like a
drastic change.
Yeah. I don't think I really pieced it together. Or maybe it was just that I was under a lot of stress from my own personal situation, that maybe that's why I wasn't like piecing together, I don't know,
Yeah, like,
the sacrifice that you made, I guess.
well, I mean, again, it wasn't just you, it was the kids as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, the
Yeah.
kids were in really, really,
Yeah.
really bad shape. And, I just knew, I'm like, I'm like, there's no way it's going to work. Like, that's like I said, like, all my guys, everybody's divorced except for one guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of lifestyle is just not very conducive to relationships. But it's hard because, like, you work so hard.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like, and you're never going to be able to replicate, those kinds of, and you have to make sure that if you're out, you're out. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the whole Brady situation.
God, poor
Like,
guy.
he had one of the best seasons of his life.
Yeah.
At the close of this season, you know what I'm saying? And he had, his guys are coming back and everything. Like, it's like, how could you walk away from that? but like it's been 22 years, bro.
Yep.
Like your family's given it for 22 years.
And the thing is,
it's
like,
their turn now.
Your kids, they're gonna hit an age where they're gonna be like, peace. They want to go live their lives.
Right.
And like, I think because like our family, I could be completely wrong, but because our family is so close knit, I think that they're not going to, like, we're raising them to be functioning adults, not to be kids that are going to be hiding under my apron strings or hiding behind daddy all their lives. Like, these kids are being raised to go on to be entrepreneurs for themselves, to, you know, handle themselves, handle their business. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely training them for that. But at the same time, like, there's a closeness to our family that I think that is going to last even when they go on with their lives, that there is still going to continue to be a closeness.
100%. 100%.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you get that perspective, you know. You get that perspective after a while, after you've done it, because after you think you've scaled this mountain, you know, that was impossible, whether it's being a rock star, being in whatever, being an NFL football player, and to walk away when you're at the peak of your powers for the sake of your family.
Yep.
I think is
that's what I was gonna say. His kids are growing without him being around because he's put so much time into the sports. So you are creating a certain culture with them that when it's time for them to go, they're probably gonna go and live their lives and do their thing just like their dad did. He wanted his thing and he went and did it, and so they're probably gonna do the same thing. So, you know, he can't wait honestly too much longer. I mean, those kids are getting older. I don't know how old they are exactly, but they keep getting bigger every time he wins another Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I love the dude. Like, I really love him.
You
Tom
really
Brady.
do. You do.
You know, I really truly love him. But But if you love him, then you're gonna want what's best for him. And I used to tell Dorian all the time. I'd say, listen, Brady's absolutely driven, and I love that about him, how driven he is. Mm-hmm. And I said, but he's always putting his family second.
Yep.
And, you know, obviously I can't tell him everything. You know what I'm saying? I can't say, hey.
Right.
But like, he knows that I've made decisions. He doesn't know like the nature of the decision, but he knows that I've made decisions to
be there.
There for prioritize our family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so admire that, but don't replicate that. Mm-hmm. Don't ever get involved in something where your family's constantly going to be, you know, second place over a protracted period of time.
Yeah.
There are times when you have to put your family second for the sake of your family, right? Like, you know, you got to work, you got to put food on the table. Now, obviously, they're going to be in a situation where that's not the case, and a lot of that has to do with the deal we closed today. But you know, and it was, and so if he goes through with this retirement, and I'm not certain that he's going to be able to, because, you know, I'm sure he was looking at the games this weekend and been like, motherfucker, I beat all these people. Oh, my
word. Yeah, I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Jimmy Garoppolo versus Brady, that would have been it would have been a rout. They would have routed him. But if he's able to do that, I think that'll probably be his greatest accomplishment, honestly. You know what I'm saying? If he has enough self-control and discipline.
That's a good point, yeah.
To know he could win an Super Bowl, but walk away from it. I think that would be a massive. That would be like the pinnacle. It'd be a massive accomplishment. But you know, hey, I disagree with you, Middle Earth. I don't think he knows that. I think Chris Godwin's coming back. Mike Evans is coming back. And if their defense gets some rest and they weren't as banged up as they were, I think they'd be right back in the thick of it. Especially without a guy like Antonio Brown being there. So either way, if the song is directly about a relationship or if the song is, but again,
like you said about him leaving,
that guitar playing was insane. Like
was
the
so
way
good. And his voice sounded really good in it too.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, I can't even. I do think early James Hetfield was still a badass riff guy. Like he's the one that came up with that one riff. Like that to me is the heaviest riff of all time, which has been copied a trillion times. The only thing that comes close to that as far as being copied over and over again is a blind riff, you know, from Korn. Shout out to Brian.
Yeah.
So I'm not dissing James Hetfield at all, but anytime you talk about Megadeth, you almost always inevitably talk about Metallica, but he's just so clean when he does his, and they're so technical. Even like sometimes when you're doing like heavy stuff, it just gets like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just gets, but it was so clean and technical and perfect. I heard every single note. Some of that has to do with production, but some of that just has to do with just being a badass, period.
All right, what do you give it?
This is the best song of the night for me so far, so I got it a 9.3.
9.7 for me.
You give it a 9.7, okay.
9.7.
Okay. All right, well, I think that closes the night for us, is it?
It depends. He was thinking about doing one more. Do you still want to do that other one?
He must know about the channel. It's my brother.
Oh.
Stop spying on me, bitch.
Wait, close this review out, and then we can...
Okay. There you are, dear listener. If you're in the chat, we might have a song on the way for you. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? There you are. Then out.
Sorry, out.
Go.
Oh, okay.
What?
Well, he had said upon execution. So he's saying yes, he wants to do it.
Okay,
so.
we'll execute.
All right, execute away. The next one is Megadeth, Addicted to Chaos. We'll be back with in a second.
Three in your head, your partner. Execute. Boom, 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 boom. The last song is the soundtrack to Death Fan's life.
Whoa, okay.
So you guys need to thank the big homie Death Fan because he is giving us a soundtrack to his life. I'm writing a soundtrack to my life. Okay, guys, commercial time, then we'll be right back for one more. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get matched down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/VinandSorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed.
Yes.
Shall lead them.
To buy our merch. All right, you guys, we are still doing the DJ Dethstream for 2022. Next up, the last song on our list is Addicted to Chaos by the band Megadeth. Surprise! This song is our DJ's theme song for his life. So let's see.
It's a soundtrack to his life.
Let's find out what Death Fan is all about.
I'm going to be paying some serious attention to dumb butts.
Dumb butts.
All right, dumb butts. This is a jam right here. Shout out to my little brother. He's got a phrase. He's got a village phrase. Did you know that? You bitch, you have a village phrase. All right, here we go. Addicted to Chaos. Let's do it.
You got a problem, M. Fan. Is this just about being addicted to just, well, chaos, but then everything that follows it? And when he was saying, is there a part in here where he was asking if God was going to help him? Or who's he talking to?
Looks like...
Who will help me? Where's the helping hand? Will you turn on me? Is this my final stand? Okay, so maybe he's asking anybody to help him.
Where's the help? Well, it says in the first verse, only yesterday they told me you were gone. Oh. All these normal people, will I find another one? Monkey on my back, aching in my bones. I forgot you said one day you'll walk alone.
Yikes.
So that, to me, looks like...
somebody that was like him
a
passed
parent
away?
Or something. Or somebody that was close. And he said, this is true, Sorry. What did you say to him? He said, this is true. What did you say was true?
I said quite a few things.
What did you say? Say it again.
I asked if this is how he feels, like where he's, there's always this chaotic situation. Is God going to help him? Who's going to help him? I asked if he was talking to God, or if it was just, or maybe it was when I basically said, you got a problem, M. Fan.
Oh.
Being addicted to chaos. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, it made me think about borderline personality disorder, because one of the comorbidities or symptoms of borderline personality disorder is that you believe that people are going to abandon you. So you develop these close relationships with people, but because you believe they're going to abandon you, you then go and sabotage them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
Yeah.
And if you have a parent that has borderline personality disorder, you're in bad shape. But it looks to me like this was either a best friend.
Yeah, to me it didn't seem like a parent. It seemed like it was more a friend or God.
Well, he says, I forgot that you said one day you'll walk alone. That was a controlling line for me. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, you say stuff like that. I'm not going to be here forever.
Yeah, but I don't tell people they're going to walk alone.
Well, I mean, it's basically the same thing.
No, me not being here and you walking alone are not the same thing. The same thing with the boys. When I tell Dorian, like, I'm not going to be around forever, that doesn't mean he's going to walk alone in the world. What the hell?
Well, it has that feel to it. Nobody wants to hear, I'm not always going to be here. Shut the fuck up. We know you might not always be here, but I might not always be here, too.
That's not the same thing as walking alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I heard it had to do with losing Cliff. Okay, so Cliff Burton was the bassist in Metallica, one that died in the bus accident.
Oh God.
Which is really interesting because that guy, a lot of people seem really hurt by losing him. Like, of course, you're always hurt, like, when you lose your friend, but it seems like they were really, like, traumatized, like, didn't know what to do with themselves after that dude died.
I wonder if he was kind of like
some people that are like that.
Yeah, some people are the sort of the leader or I don't know how you say that, like the staying point. I'm thinking of the stakes that, there's a tent and you've got 4 sides to it and you've got, the stakes. Like some people are the stakes and they kind of hold everybody's tents down.
That's a lot of pressure on a person.
That is a lot of pressure on a person.
So that when, like, it'd be like if you say I'm not going to be around forever, and the people go, well, that's equivalent to me being alone in the world. that's a lot of pressure to put on one to put on one person.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, I have to talk about his vocals. The vocals were great here, and he went kind of high. He went kind of high on the chorus and the vocals here.
That's interesting because I didn't think of this as one of his better ones.
No, I thought he did a really, really good job. He did a really, really good job on the chorus. But this song is just a real heavy song to me lyrically because I remember feeling like this. My ex-mother-in-law when she died, and she died obviously in pretty horrific circumstances. The way she went out. I mean, she went out on her own accord. Put it that way, but. She had systematically sent all these packages like every day, and that's one of the things that unforgivable. for myself, like, how the fuck did you miss that? Because she was sending all of these, like, there was a package like every day almost at my doorstep, and a lot of them was like, memorabilia with her and her daughter, my ex or my girl at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
How did you not see that, dummy? But anyway, it is what it is. And it was the day after the 4th of July. We get this phone call that she's no longer with us or whatever. And an hour later, I had my ex. I had her in the air going to New York. I was on my first assignment in Lexington, Kentucky, and I really couldn't leave. But I sent her off.
Oh, that's why you didn't go.
Yeah, well, and the kids.
I mean, I'm sure that there was like a lot of reasons.
I didn't want the kids in that situation, you know what I'm saying? Because she had just visited. She had just visited them, and then like literally a month later, she was gone. So it was basically a goodbye type of thing, but obviously I didn't know it at the time.
That's terrible.
And like,
and you guys had you guys just basically moved?
Yeah, we just moved over there.
So it's not like you knew anybody that could watch the kids.
Yeah. But like, it was crazy because one last box came, like right on schedule, and it was one of those things where, hey, if you're seeing this, then you know what happened, yada yada yada, move on with your life, everything will be fine, type of thing. And it was just like, I was just sitting there, and it was like the emptiest feeling in the world, because this is impossible to explain, but it's kind of actually a gift, actually, that you're dealing with the bullshit now. But
I bet
dealing with my ex, she has, like, no disrespect to her, but she has, some serious issues, and you feel alone in the world dealing with her, and like, I'm like, who am I gonna relate to now? Like, who knows this part of me? Like, it was one of the emptiest feelings I ever had in my life. It was one of the worst feelings I ever had in my life, that people aren't, that this person that knew me and knew these situations, and she was there when we were kids,
Yeah, I was gonna say, she was like a mother. She was your mother-in-law, but she was also a mother figure when things were going rough for you as a teenager.
Yeah, she was. And, when I couldn't, when I became intolerable to my own mother, or vice versa, like, I was over at her place. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, man, like, yeah, it was a really empty feeling. Like, that person that knew that aspect of your life is gone. And, I would, it was one of those, like, I'm alone in this shit. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
all these normal people, will I find another one? And like, I just knew there was never going to be another person like her, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew. It's like, you and who'll be there to help me up? Where's the helping hand? Will you turn on me? Is this my final stand? Like, I was just like suiting up to, like, I don't know. It was very, very. It's crazy because, I lost my mom a couple years ago, but it didn't hit me the way that she hit me, and there. Obviously,
hers was completely unexpected. Like,
it was out of nowhere. I had no idea. Whereas with I wasn't able to say goodbye to her. All that. My mom, like, I knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no doubt. But like, when you lose somebody, when you lose somebody like that in these unexpected circumstances, it kind of like, I don't know. It messes with you, I think, probably for life.
It has to. How can it not? How can it not? Anytime that something like, well, I don't know if this happens to you. If somebody all of a sudden makes a very loud noise, like, it's jarring because you didn't expect it. All of a sudden it's just there, and you were, off somewhere else and you're thinking or whatever, and then somebody just does that. Like, that's just a noise. There's so many noises that we hear throughout the day. This is a person. This is a person that you knew, a person that you shared time with, that shared pain with, like that's going to be something that is going to jar you in a different way. And you know, in some ways I agree. I think that's, you know, how can you fully recover from something like that? Like the wounds of the soul, it seems like they, you know, can they ever fully heal? I mean, I think that there has to be a form of healing that has to come enough to, otherwise how could anyone survive after such a horrific event? But
yeah, I mean, you know, I picked up and you know, I moved on. You know what I'm saying? Like, the funny thing is that was really that was the end of me and Homegirl. Mm-hmm. Like, we were on actually a decent trajectory, and then that shit happened, and like, yeah, I don't blame her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it, you know, it just, you know.
I mean, everything always looks like it's on a decent trajectory, and then it just goes to shit again with her.
Yeah, I know.
So,
but
I mean,
I think, like, you know, people say like something in me died or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You know, I've lost a lot of people, but that one was very different, and I was a very different person after that happened. Very, very different person after that happened. Like, yeah. Like, I'm a completely, yeah. And then, obviously, then my mom and, you know, like, yeah. But, you know, you gotta, it was just the suddenness of the action, you know, like, and how systematic she was about it. Like, it was some movie shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. The way that she did everything. And I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but, so.
Right, yeah, I know.
People like that, when they do that shit to you, like, when they do that shit to themselves, you know, I had the kids, and it was kind of cool that, like, I wasn't completely by myself, because I had the kids, and, like, they had to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are things that they needed to do, and there's things that I needed to do for them, where it was like,
yeah.
And I just remember being on Facebook and, like, looking at everybody, and I'm like, do you realize, like, this monumental occasion just happened?
See?
Like,
yeah,
we just lost, like, I just lost somebody who that first line in the song, it's like, all these normal people, will I find another one? And I knew I was never gonna find somebody like that. And then lose my mom is the same thing. Like, you know, my mom was such a unique person and personality, and she got me so deeply. Like, you that's one of the, you know, benefits, I guess, of long form reviews, is people really see your personality, and people see how truly difficult it is to relate to me and to tolerate me. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, my mom, like, had this unique, so it there, you know, it was, you know, I definitely could relate to that part of the song. And you know, he talks about, you know, turn bad days into good, turn breakdowns into blocks, smash because I could, my brain was labored, my head would spin, don't let me down, don't give up, don't give in, the rain comes down, cold wind blows, the plans we made are back up on the road, turn up my collar, welcome the unknown, remember that you said one day you'll walk alone. To me, it's like, you have to, you know, you just got to move on. You know, at the end of the day, you just got to move on. And, you know, and then you run into people who are, you know, I think it's one of the reasons me and Death fan, you know, have like a tight relationship, you know, because, and it's funny because if you were an observer and you look at the text, you're like, you kids are fighting like cats and dogs every day, but that's the love language.
I know.
He ain't no bitch, and I ain't no bitch.
Yeah,
you know
it's funny because, like, I don't, you know, read the messages or even really hear the nature of you guys' conversations, but I see your body language and sometimes I'm like, who are you talking to? And you'll be like, I'm Death fan, and then, like, but then when you announce it up in here, you guys are all close and tight. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what type of relationship this is.
But that's my, but like, that's like,
yeah.
You know, that's like a lifelong type, like, You know what I'm saying? Like, this is on my bucket list to play this song with him, cover this song with the homie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's on my bucket list, and I'm going to accomplish that shit.
Oh,
But,
really?
Yeah. That's going to happen for sure.
There you go.
You know, rest in peace to Wanda Padilla, though. You should have done that shit, bro. But yeah. No, it was a really, really good song. Really, really good jam. Really good jam. I understand the whole story of life thing. Like, I'm not gonna go into his autobiography, but I'm not the only one that's had it rough. And there's a lot of you out there, man. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as suicide. I mean, there's just some drifting away from a really close friend who got you, and now you're in a new environment and the relationship isn't the same. You know, that's valid. That's valid too. Like, it's not just one. Sometimes, like, I hesitate to share all that stuff because for whatever reason, the shit in my life is just fucking over dramatic. You know what I'm saying? God,
it's unbelievable.
And
it's literally unbelievable. Like, if I wasn't around for some of the things to see them pop off, I'm like, and there's like so much stuff that you don't even say. Like, I'm not going to get into the details of this, but like when Vinny and I were just friends, I would get dreams about different things and kind of know what was going on with different stuff, whatever. Just, I guess, something that God was speaking to me. But anyway, so I got this really crazy dream, and like I knew details about Vin's life that he would have never wanted me to know. And like, I still don't even understand. Maybe you understand why I had that dream, and I don't even understand why the frig I even told you I had that dream.
Yeah, I was pretty mad at God in that situation. I was mad at both of you. I was like, why the fuck would you say?
I thought it was so funny to hear somebody say. But yeah, what I'm saying is you are always going. There's so much stuff that if I didn't have a dream about it to know what was going on, it's just unbelievable. And I'm sure I don't even know the half of it. The half of all the stuff.
But like, people, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to go through something that dramatic for everybody has different degrees of shit that they went through. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like, you could be losing a best friend. It could be, a relationship that dissolved.
Right.
All that shit.
And I've said this before, that what you go through, obviously not at all to take away from your pain and suffering, because yours has been astronomical. But
we're not going to do the suffering Olympics.
But
I'm the gold medalist,
let me
bitch!
Finish my sentence
ahead,
before you start talking. Like I said, like, if you stub your toe, you're not going to start crying because you know what that is. You've had stubbed toes, and so have I.
Right.
But this summer, when Orion goes outside, he's 2 years old, I'm sure he's going to end up stubbing his toe, and he's going to cry. None of the other kids are going to cry, but he's going to cry about something like that because that's the first for him of that pain that he's never experienced or felt before. And so, you've experienced levels of pain that I haven't reached, and I've experienced pains that you haven't touched either, so... you never lost a baby.
Right.
So just everybody has things that they go through and that they experience, and we can't look at somebody else's list and say, well, my suffering's worse or their suffering's worse than mine, because depending on what your life consisted of, you feel things differently. Like, the more callous that you get, or the more, I guess, grown up that you get, the more, things that you understand. Like, it was crazy. I turned on Facebook. There was a kid in a class, well, he's not a kid. I mean, he was a class younger than I was. Probably a couple years younger because it was in college. And there was like a picture of his hand, and he's in a hospital bed. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he said that he had a heart attack, but he's doing okay right now or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, just things happen, and people are changing, and life goes on. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know.
You got to adapt and adjust. You have to.
Yep.
And, so shout out to everybody. I mean, that's ultimately, in my opinion, what the song means to me. Is finding a way to make it through and push through. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there you are. What do you get the song?
It's like verging on silent count because of the, but I guess I'll go with the 9.65.
Actually, really, really like this song. Obviously, it's a 10 for me. It was a well-earned 10, I would say.
Oh, there you have it.
It's a well-earned 10. There you are, dear listener. Having said that, dear listener, Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go. Give me a second. Conference. All right, guys. Having said that, dear listener, they brought up my robot. They brought up my robot legs again. Yes, they did. You evil bitches. Shout out to Death fan. Really, really, really good review. Good review. If I do say, I do think the reviews are very, very good. Actually, if I do say so myself.
Yes, if I say so myself.
If I do say so myself. We're gonna peace out of here. Thank you guys. Much love, everybody being here. For show. Having said that, dear listeners.